What were we doing? We were playing Alpha Centauri. Glorious creation of Ryan Reynolds.
Production complete.
And what I was doing was spamming cities. Is this city number 7? I think it might be. So, Human Genome Project, network nodes. There is the Rec Commons,
Turn complete.
which helps keep the drones in line. On this level of difficulty, I'm going to get a lot of drones.
Production complete.
So much so that the Rec Commons is really going to be a drop in the ocean for me. It's going to be a drop in the ocean that sucks my power, or my cash, depending on how you look at it.
Invalid command.
So I'm not building any. There is only one solution to dronehood in my society, and that's a firm but kind stapling of the brain. It's firm but fair. It's equal across the board. Every drone gets it. So I've got a nice empty apart from me kind of island. It's covered with a lot of red fungus, but I'm developing terraformers at a pretty high rate. So I'm going to be terraforming madly. There won't be any combat. In this video there won't be conflict with the AI. So if you'd like to see a fight, perhaps skip ahead to another video, but you may learn some weird things from this era of the challenge. It's highly repetitive. It's spam more cities, spam more scouts, spam more formers.
Bot recovered.
But I'm getting a few formers now, and they're starting to crack out some forests. Some of them are making way for new cities, clearing the fungus. But, like this guy. But others have already planted some forest. And the way it works is you can have the formers go and clear the fungus, or you can plant a bunch of forest around the fungus, which your cities can immediately use as a resource, and that forest will strangle and displace the evil red fungus and turn it all a pleasant green. Surely, but gradually, you end up with a beautiful forest, except of course the rocky squares. The rocky squares are good for mines. A mine and a road on a rocky square and a forest on every other square, and I'm a happy camper. Keep it simple. So it's going to be a mat of green with a grid of cities, and you can start to see the center line grid going vertically through my headquarters there. I have a nice straight line going down this continent. Big enough to be my own continent. Okay, so that's my armor. fundamentalist I need and probe team I need, and it's not offering probe team.
deny us our birthright? None, I say. Let us take what is ours,
Or maybe I already have it.
our fill. CEO Nwabude K. Morgan, the ethics of
There's a
greed.
big fat worm that got big,
Terraform
eating the
complete.
minds of all my juicy soldiers. So I'll have to send some brave volunteers in red shirts down to deal with them. Meanwhile, give me more formers. Early on they get a bit preoccupied
Complete.
clearing land for cities, but gradually they switch over to foresting duty. So you won't see me creating a solar cell in this video. If you're a SMAC solar enthusiast, you've come to the wrong place. You most likely won't be seeing any farms either.
Terraform complete.
Sometimes I like growth, sometimes I don't. What you will see is forest and mines. A mine
Complete.
subtracts 8, has an eco penalty of 8, an eco rating of -8, and a forest has an eco rating of +1. So if you've got 8 forests for every mine, then you're carbon neutral, as it were. So that's generally how I roll. I like plenty of forest because that's giving me lots of counter pollution. I'm not a fan of flooding the world. You can flood the world as a military tactic and wipe out your enemies, as long as you see it coming. The weather paradigm can be a useful weapon. You can get the weather paradigm, raise up your land into a giant mountain, and put boreholes where you can, etc. Create some serious global warming and flood the world and kill your enemies that way. It's a creative Blofeld plan way of getting things done. Hey, I'm second last. Look at me go. Second last. These enemies must be terrifying. Such astute governments. No doubt blazing forward with much technology I don't have. But that's just the way that the cookie crumbles for Miriam. So, more formers. Until this fungus has well and truly rounded it up, it's going to be fungus removal and forest creation. I won't be building any mines until my formers have a vice-like grip on this continent when it comes to terraforming. Pure city spam. I haven't stopped to slap in a network node and boost my pitiful research. I could do that. The fact is, I really need, for my tactics, for my city grid, I need a ton of colony pods, and I'm just spamming colony pods at this point. And I need formers to make sure that that can happen, that they've got good squares to go to. I need scout patrols to defend them getting there. But that's priority number 1. There it is. 9 bases, swollen bureaucracy. Gotta love it. How terrifying. Terrifying. Made my 10th base. Now I'm all inefficient. What will I do? What I will do is keep on making bases. These bases are of course terrifyingly close to my HQ, so the amount of inefficiency that they suffer is based on distance to the HQ, and so the distance to this HQ is negligible, so they don't suffer much inefficiency. But inefficiency doesn't really matter to me that much. If you're not spending your energy on a bunch of buildings you don't need, you don't need to reap in as much citywide. And down the track I've got tricks for energy. I can pump a lot of energy into my HQ. HQ has perfect efficiency. Doesn't matter how inefficient the rest of your empire becomes, any energy going into your HQ isn't lost to inefficiency. So if you have the merchant, was name? The merchant wonder. There's an early wonder that gives you +1 energy per square in your headquarters, which is a great one because you never lose any of that energy to inefficiency, no matter how terrible your government gets. Very, very handy.
Production complete.
Keeps flashing up the words. This scout patrol has been made a designated defender. If you're not on top of that, that's a Control D. It's my standard reflex when I create something that's a defensive garrison. Control D, H basically makes it the designated defender and has it hold position, so it's then defending the city. If I've got a transport there or a spy or whatever else, the garrison will be the first thing to be pummeled before the other more valuable thing does. So it's just a nice little thing to get into the habit of if you haven't already. Control H to rehome things is also useful for redistributing the upkeep of your units. If you're pumping a lot of scouts out of one city early on, you might want to do a bit of Control H in other cities. I'll be using a lot of Control H once I start manufacturing a military in a proper way. So there's my budget, 9 a year. At turn 58, I'll wrap it up for this particular video.